Okay, Jordan, if you can go to the next slide, we'll get started. So, hello everybody, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Bruce Bianco. I'm with my colleague Gerard on the other line here. We'll be taking you through a quick introduction and a demo of our new self-service temperature kiosk. Gerard, can you next slide? So just really quickly, for those who aren't as familiar with Barcodes Group, Barcodes Inc. Is North America's leading provider of barcode, mobile access, computing, RFID, and identification solutions. Today, we won't be talking about any of those. As I suggested, we're talking about a new solution that we're excited to come out with. It's a temperature kiosk. Gerard? So why are temperature kiosks, temperature services, why are they important in today's conversation? I think quite simply, many of us and the businesses and the organizations that we represent are anxious to get back to work and to get back to some level of normalcy. And what we're seeing is that in order to do that and to create safe work environments and healthy work environments that respect some of the guidelines that we're seeing from state and federal authorities, that screening of some sort is going to be vitally important to a back to work program. Gerard, next. So there are a number of solutions out there specific to temperature screening. They're going to help us achieve some of these goals. Three that we've seen most in our conversation are services. So we see a lot, especially now as new technologies are coming to market. Screening services seem to be something that people are looking at. The challenge with these are you have to hire the organization or service company. They're fairly expensive on an ongoing monthly basis, and they do involve human interaction. So there is the aspect of potentially putting people at risk. There are group temperature sensing devices that can actually take large amounts of people at a single point. They are quite expensive to purchase. They're quite involved in maintaining and setting up, but they are out there. But again, those devices probably range in the neighborhood of $20,000 to $30,000 and up. The other thing that we see people doing with regards to self-service kiosks is just asking surveys and questions. So people coming into the buildings will go through a series of questions and surveys. The problem with that obviously is that it's based on an honor system and it's less reliable. But those are some of the things that we're seeing out in the marketplace today. Next slide, Gerard. So this is our solution. It's a freestanding pedestal, hands-free, it's touchless, and it includes voice prompts. So there's absolutely zero human interaction. It's completely self-service. Its temperature detection is quite impressive. It's approximately 1 second as people are walking through an entrance or a gated area or a lobby for them to detect, for the device to detect somebody, and then for the temperature screening process to take place. Also impressive is its accuracy. If you look at other devices or other options available on the market, this device 0.9 degrees Fahrenheit in either direction as far as accuracy. It has the ability to have audible alarms and LED alarms to alert others in the lobby or in the entrance space, a guard, a receptionist, that there may be a problem. And those alarms can be turned on or off depending on the policy of the organization. It's got some other neat features. Facial recognition, if you do want to enroll your employees, so to ensure that not only is it taking temperature of people, but it's only people that are authorized to be at the specific gate, facility, entrance area are actually going through the process. And another neat feature is it can actually support face mask detection. So if you have, excuse me, a policy that not only their temperature needs to be in a certain range, but they need to be wearing a face mask, then this device will do that. It has something called stranger mode. So if, and many organizations I think that we've talked to are focusing on this. While the facial recognition is a nice feature, I think most people, you know, as we talk about going back to work, the main focus is I want to know the people that are coming into my building if their temperature is within range. So stranger mode, if you turn this on, it won't force you to have employees enrolled in the system. If you walk up, if it knows somebody as an employee that's supposed to be here, then it will certainly show that person's face. But if stranger mode is turned on and you have a guest walk up, it will equally take their temperature as well, and it will capture their picture if you want, but you don't actually have to be pre-enrolled in the system. It supports LAN and Wi-Fi connectivity for future services that we are coming up with in the following months. The device is FCC certified and CE certified, and probably one of the nicest features compared to some of the other services and options that I talked about on the last slide is that it's extremely easy to set up. Out of the packaging, from the time you get it, you're probably looking at about, you know, less than 5 minutes for it to be up and running, and you'd be able to take temperatures. So that gives you a little bit of a background on why we're doing it, the other options that are out here, and then the solution that we're presenting today. I think a lot of people want to see the device, so we're going to ask Gerard, as we can move to the next slide. So Gerard, just to give you a little disclaimer, he is the proud new grandfather of a baby boy, and so he flew out to Washington State to be with his family. So we're going to see if we can bear with Gerard. He's in a hotel room across the country from where he's normally at, but he's going to give us a demonstration of the device. So Gerard, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Bruce. Good morning, folks. So here we are set up with the device as Bruce described it. And you've got a wide angle shot from the side which shows you the view of me interacting with the device. And on the left-hand side, you will see the actual screen display so you can follow along. There might be a little bit of a lag, but I'll try to talk a little bit slowly so that there's a more synchronized experience for you all. What I propose is that I'll walk up to the unit a couple of times. I've enabled the mask feature, so it's going to recognize that I do not have a mask on, and it's going to ask me to put the mask on. So I'll just be quiet for the next couple of times as I walk up and back from the unit.
Please get close for taking temperature. Please get close for taking temperature. Normal temperature. Please wear a mask. Normal temperature. Please get close for taking temperature. Normal temperature. Please wear a mask.
So the algorithm that has been cleverly programmed to detect that the face of the person presenting themselves is not wearing a mask is fully working. And I will don a quick mask here so that I'm compliant. And I'll still wear my glasses. I'm almost wearing glasses.
Normal temperature. Normal temperature. Normal temperature. Normal temperature. Please get close for taking temperature. Normal temperature.
I think I might have a little bit of reflection from the, there it is.
Normal temperature.
So there, it caught Gerard turning off. I pre-enrolled myself.
Normal temperature. Please get close for taking temperature. Please get close for taking temperature. Normal temperature. Normal temperature.
So it's
Normal temperature.
there it is. It recognized that Gerfred is ready to come in the office. He's got a normal temperature. He's wearing the mask, so I'll give him admittance. And I'll drop my mask, and you'll see it'll start asking me to put the mask on.
Normal temperature. Please wear a mask.
So it works very well to detect whether the person is compliant with the mask feature. I'm going to quickly turn that mask feature off. And I just need to switch my keyboard over to the device. The great thing about this application is it comes with a very rich set of settings that the operator can manipulate and change around. So I'm going to turn off the mask detection and put it back into production mode. And you can see I don't have to reboot the system. It just, the settings pick up right away. So I've turned off the mask detection.
Please get close for taking temperature.
And it recognizes me.
Normal temperature.
And it's giving me
Please get close for taking temperature.
So it's letting Fred come in.
Normal temperature.
Even if Fred had a mask on.
Please get close for taking temperature. Normal temperature. Normal temperature. Normal temperature.
Okay.
Please get close.
I've got a light that's shining from the top here that is probably
Normal temperature.
impacting by. There it is.
Normal temperature.
So there's Fred. He's getting into the building
Normal
today.
temperature.
Now, if I simulate a hot temperature with a hot mug of water,
Temperature.
you'll see
Normal
it
temperature.
will screen an alert that I'm out of range. So I'm
Please
protecting
get
myself.
close for taking temperature. Please get close for taking temperature. Please get close for taking temperature.
So no entry.
Abnormal temperature. Abnormal temperature. Please get close for taking temperature. Abnormal temperature.
So it's flagging that
Abnormal temperature.
the candidate that is presented
Please
in
get
front of the
close for
unit
taking temperature.
has a high elevated temperature
Please get
that's above
close for
the
taking
threshold.
temperature. Please get close for taking temperature.
And you can see that the sensors are very accurate and very dialed in for about 6 foot range. So as I'm approaching the unit within 6 feet away and about a 60-degree angle field of view, it's starting to detect that somebody is walking up to the unit ready to be screened. And now I'm standing well out of the range. You can barely see me off to the side here on the camera shot. So this is the idle mode. You've got a little screensaver with some gears floating around. You could change this and put a company logo, but right now I've got it just set with a default. And as soon as I come into view here, the sensor starts to pick up that I'm here.
Please get close for taking temperature. Please get close for taking temperature. Normal temperature. Abnormal temperature.
And it is very quick, very accurate to detect that I'm out of range. I'll put my hot mug away. And
Please get close for
the next
taking
thing that we
temperature.
wanted to show you is
Please
the
get
audio
close for
alarm.
taking temperature.
So folks, we're gonna make one more change to the settings and we'll give you a demonstration of the audio alarm.
Now, while Gerard's doing that, I will say that it's quite loud, the audible alarm. So we're seeing most organizations questioning whether they want to, they want to be sensitive to alienating their guest or employee. So I think most people are turning this off, but we want to show you that it is, in case you have a use case where it's required, you can see this.
Please get close for taking temperature. Please get close for taking temperature.
That's quite obvious.
Please get close for taking temperature.
Anybody within the earshot in the lobby would have heard that noise. It is a feature, as Bruce said, that can be turned off, and it sounds like most of our customers are saying that they might elect to not use this audible feature. And
Gerard, can you put your hand up to it just so people can get an idea of the size of the device?
yes. Let me just turn this guy off here. So the device itself is an 8-inch tablet. So you've got 8-inch edge to edge on the display itself. Overall, it's about 12 inches tall, very well constructed. I'm going to say this is close to one of those Apple-esque finishes of form, fit, and function because it's so polished and well done. The glass and the housing don't have any kind of seams on it. The construction is very solid and robust. Very easy. Like Bruce said, it's really plug and play. Out of the box within a few minutes. Once you've plugged it into your local 120 volts AC outlet, the unit auto boots up and it remembers the settings. So what I do, and you see I'm traveling here in a hotel room, it remembers the settings from the last time. You don't have to go and reconfigure it. So very solid, very stable device.
Okay, are you going to go back to the slides?
Yes.
Thank you, Gerard. I forgot to mention, and I think some people have already found it, but at the end of this, we've got a couple of slides left here to talking points. We are going to have a question and answer period, and I think we'll stay as long as necessary. We allocated 10 or 15 minutes, but I'm seeing that there are a ton of questions coming in, which is great. So I think we'll make ourselves available as long as people want to stay on.
Normal temperature.
But at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you should see there's two. Choose whichever one works best for you. There's a Q&A and there's also a chat.
There you go, Bruce.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So just a couple to finish off here. So some of the benefits that we're highlighting. I think it's going to be an important part of any back to work program to ensure the success of a back to work program or health and safety program. It helps with adherence to federal and state health recommendations. It's certainly talked a lot about in the news as part of an integrated program. Again, it's completely touchless, as Gerard talked about and has shown us. So there's absolutely zero human interaction, no touching of the screen. And I think as part of it, it shows the organization's support and commitment to a healthy and safe work environment, which is going to be on employees' minds and guests' minds as we start looking at returning back to our normal work days. Next slide, George.
Yep.
So just to recap a bit of the capabilities, again, the first form factor that's coming out is a pedestal with a plug. There will be additional form factors coming, which we can address in a question and answer period. The main capability, the focus for this device is to take people's temperature and give organizations and people a reassurance that health and healthy people are coming into the organization or the facility. It does support facial recognition if you want to use that. We showed you the mass detection, which is an interesting feature to help. A lot of organizations we're talking to are going to have some type of policy that they're looking at wearing masks or adhering to masks. Again, the alarm thresholds, there's a number of different alarms, LED and audible, and there's various calibrations for ambient temperature that are supported as well. Again, there's Wi-Fi and LAN capabilities for future services that we're planning to come out with. The two main modes, again, are stranger mode. It will take the temperature of anybody and report on that person, or recognition mode, which you'll have to be enrolled into the system prior to walking up to the device for it to work. Otherwise, it will deny you. list price for the device is $32.50 for the pedestal that we're showing here. And as far as optional services and support, we're recommending that you speak with your authorized partner about the various services, project management capabilities, post-sales technical support, and so forth that they're offering for this device. As far as where you can get the device, if you can go to the next slide, Gerard. There's a number of storefronts, and brands that fall under the Barcode Group and authorized partners that you see here. I believe marketing is going to make this presentation available, but any one of the ones that you're familiar with, you probably were invited from one of the brands that you're used to doing business with. Certainly reach out to them. The product is available now. Reach out to them for any further questions if you want further demos or more in-depth demos, and we'll be glad to help you. So the goal of this was an introduction at a high level. We certainly would love to entertain one-on-one conversations afterwards, but I think at this point, we've got a number of questions coming up that if everybody's okay, we'll move into a question and answer period.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. Yes, we definitely have a lot of questions. And maybe, Gerard, if you could leave the previous slide up on the screen so people that like to take that information down have a little bit more chance to do so. I appreciate that. One question, and I'm trying to combine some questions from different attendees, but so how does the unit accommodate for varying ambient temperatures? So people coming in from the cold, or the building is very hot in the summer. How does the unit address this? So
there are adjustments that you can make if those temperatures are consistent. If somebody's coming in from a run, for instance, and they're maybe their temperature is higher than it normally would be, this device is a screening device. So it would actually say that their temperature was higher. They go off to maybe a secondary triage. Person says, hey, listen, you seem to have a temperature. They say, no, I went for a run. And then, the policy that I'm talking through some of the use cases that we're talking with people about. You'd ask the person to sit, and then they would retest them. As far as placement, Gerard can speak to it, but you don't necessarily want to put this thing in direct sunlight, but there are adjustments within. So if your room is traditionally cold, that you can make adjustments. There's on the threshold.
Yeah. So exactly as Bruce said, the device has a field that you can put in a compensation value. The algorithm is working in Celsius or centigrade, and your staff would assess after a couple of days of the unit working. It seems to be reading a little hotter or colder than we would like to, based on those readings you saw, 97, 98 degrees. So you can adjust. If it's a lobby that does not have air conditioning and it's reading a little warm, you can put that lower. Or if it's a lobby with a lot of air conditioning, you can put a plus factor in there to bump up the temperature. And it's an empirically derived, because as we said, this is not a medical device. So your IT and your HR department can monitor from a day to day to see how it's drifting, or if it's not drifting, and you can just let it go. It will be very stable.
Then a question about do you keep a log of all the recorded temperatures? Where is this data going that you record when people's temperatures are taken?
So at this point right now, yes, it does, and it's being recorded on the device.
And then from an alert standpoint, if the alarm is a little loud for people, what other ways can there be to alert other people in the building that somebody's temperature is too high, like an email was being requested?
So at this time, the two options are there's an LED, so a visual display, or the audible display. In the near future, we'll be launching a back-end cloud service that will allow you to notify someone or a group of people about a temperature that's out of range, and it will email them or send them the time, the location of where that person came in, what kiosk, because you may have various locations in your building or premises, a picture of the person, and the temperature.
And then question is about the height. So if people use this, let's say in a school setting where faculty is a lot taller than students, how does it work with the height of a unit?
So you can adjust. Well, you know what? I'll let Gerard tackle this one.
Sure. So Edwin, this unit has about a 30-degree tilt range from facing up, as we were showing it in our demo, or facing it downward. And you don't have to be right on it. So within the ranges of the tilting and the cone, the wide cone of view, this device will capture shorter folks as well as tall folks with quite accuracy and speed.
So is the unit affected by sunlight or glare? So environmental conditions, air conditioning, heating registers, any effect in your testing, Gerard?
Yes, it's very forgiving, but as you saw, I do have an overhead light that seems to be, what do you call that, reflecting off of my glasses. And you would want to put this in a position where you don't have direct sunlight for sure. So you would not face this out to a large lobby glass window. And you would want to make sure that you don't have any large halogen lights in the background that are interfering with it. But for the many different places that we've set this device up and used, it has not had any impact from ambient lighting from the room.
Great. Maybe we'll take another one here. Can you clean and disinfect the device easily? Is it waterproof?
So it is not IP rated, so to speak. So we did not go and take out an IP56 or IP waterproof rating on it, but it is very tightly constructed. So normal cleaning that you would use for computer monitors and your laptops with disinfectant cloth will not impact the devices in this unit. It has a fan. I wanted to mention also, it has a built-in fan. So if the ambient temperature of the space gets elevated, the fan will kick on and keep the electronics cool.
And then maybe this is the last one. A lot of questions coming in related to integration with other interfaces, such as an access control system. How would you respond to that when someone is interested in this unit?
Sorry, say that one again, Edwin. I missed that. I apologize.
Well, it's can you integrate it with a card reader? Can you give access based on this? The temperature reading. Is there any integration?
It has limited integration capabilities at this moment. It does have an integrated reader in it. It supports MyFair. Most people in North America, or some people use MyFair as a technology. It's quite prevalent overseas. Most people in this part of the world are using technologies by HID technology or HID Global. So I would say that yes, it does have some features in there that would allow it to, but at this point it's quite limited. We will be addressing that.
I think that covers the kind of like the broad range of questions that come in. And maybe we can leave it at this and address, other questions, one-on-one by having people reach out maybe to these phone numbers on the screen or maybe to the account manager that they're familiar with. And we'll certainly follow up on all this.
Edwin, for the questions that are remaining, I see there's a lot of them. Can we we'll have a list of the people that asked the questions, we can respond to them?
Definitely.
Okay, perfect. And then that's what we'll do for the people that may have a question that we weren't able to address in the time limit we had. We'll certainly reach out to you and address any questions you have. So I think this is, if Edwin's given me the nod or the cane, then this is going to be the end of the presentation. Again, really thank you for taking the time. We're excited about this product. It's very relevant, you know, in today's time. So again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, folks.